Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Cowboys fans get disappointing news concerning future additions to glaring need. The Dallas Cowboys were once the foremost leaders in paying running backs, giving Ezekiel Elliott a 6-year, $90 million 2 years prior to the conclusion of his rookie deal, something that has been almost fully phased out of the league. Nowadays, after getting lukewarm returns on their Zeke investment, and finding Pro Bowl back, Tony Pollard, in the 4th round of the 2023 NFL Draft, Jerry Jones and company have done a 180 on their strategy at the position. Done are the days of drafting running backs early and paying them often. In fact, Dallas has not drafted a back within the first 3 rounds of the draft since 2016, the only franchise to have not done so in that time period. But after a dismal rushing performance in 2024 that was compounded by the team losing their best, and really only threat on the ground, Rico Dowdle, to the Carolina Panthers, fans have been crying out for some rhyme or reason as to why Dallas refuses to invest properly at the position. And it seems that Dan Graziano may have some information, per his piece for ESPN on Tuesday, in which he outlines the Cowboys' thought process regarding running backs this past offseason. The answer to the question really has to do with Dallas' current position on running back value relative to other positions on the roster. Graziano writes, "The Cowboys are paying Dak Prescott more than any other quarterback in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb makes more than all but 2 other wide receivers. And Dallas is probably about to pay edge rusher Micah Parsons more than any other defensive player. The front office has to find ways to cut salary cap costs." Over the past couple of years, the Cowboys have made it clear that they intend to find bargains at running back. Dowdle's journey from the middle of the depth chart to a 1,079-yard rushing season in 2024 supports their idea that they can find production at RB without spending big. Javonte Williams got 1 year and $3 million, while Miles Sanders got 1 year and $1.34 million. Sanders was a Pro Bowler who rushed for 1,269 yards with the Eagles in 2022, while Williams was an explosive tackle-breaker before tearing an ACL in October of that 2022 season. Williams is also still only 25 years old. The Cowboys' cap situation leaves them preferring to spend money elsewhere, as Graziano notes, given their tough cap situation, which will likely have them paying all 3 of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons' top-of-the-market salaries. The team have to punt on running backs. Thus, as is also pointed out by Graziano, the likelihood of the team acquiring another big name like All-Pro, Nick Chubb, or J.K. Dobbins, is fairly remote. And, in fairness, that is the position group to do so with. With the additions of the cheap Williams coming off an injury, and the once high-end Sanders, there is certainly a shot that one of them could find their way back to quality production. Plus, with Jaden Blue, whom the Cowboys took in the 5th round of this year's draft, it feels like Dallas have a few options open at the position. Yet, regardless of the additions, you can't stop thinking about why Dallas refuses even to high draft capital for a back, taking linebacker Marist Liufau in the 2024 draft when Marshawn Lloyd, who many believed was arguable the top running back in the whole class, was sitting there late in the 3rd round. Cowboys veteran decides to leave Dallas for 2nd time in his career. When a player becomes a piece of the puzzle on a team with a positive trajectory, they tend to try to remain in that environment. However, for one member of the Dallas Cowboys 2024 roster, the opportunity to see regular playing time this past season has led him to join a new franchise. After returning to Dallas following brief stints with the Arizona Cardinals and Washington Commanders, veteran defensive lineman Carlos Watkins appeared in 15 games with the Cowboys this past season, recording 12 total tackles. This marked his 2nd go-round in Dallas as he made 27 appearances, including 18 starts, during the 2021 and 2022 seasons. Watkins' 2nd stint in Dallas has officially ended. For the second time in his career, Watkins has left the franchise as a free agent as the former fourth-round pick is taking his talents from Big D to Music City. Given how porous the Titans' defense was during the 2024 campaign, there could be more of an opportunity for Watkins in Tennessee than there would have been in Dallas. From that perspective, it is understandable why the former Clemson Tigers standout may have felt this was the best situation for him. Losing Watkins means one fewer depth piece from this past season will be available for the 2025 campaign. This isn't something that should have any sort of long-lasting impact on the team, though, as, despite playing 23% of the snaps on the defensive side of the ball in games he was active for, Dallas is set up well along the defensive front with training camp on the horizon. With Watkins off to Nashville, this likely ends his Cowboys tenure moving forward. It is difficult to think of a scenario where Dallas would bring Watkins in for a third separate time, barring some significant injury issues on the defensive line. Dan Quinn now holds the cards in blockbuster trade that would devastate Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys got one up on former coordinator-turned-rival Dan Quinn when they stole Washington Commanders free agent Dante Fowler Jr. to fortify their pass rush. While a big move for Dallas, it does not hide from the fact that Washington has had an excellent offseason. Unfortunately, Quinn and company are suddenly positioned to put an exclamation point on their rapid ascension up the NFC ranks. Seeking a new contract extension, Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson showed up to practice on Tuesday without a uniform to address the media. Hendrickson revealed that negotiations have stopped and left no doubt that he will not play without a new deal. That blasts the door wide open for a potential trade, and you better believe the pass rush needy Commanders are licking their chops. Dan Quinn trading for Trey Hendrickson would be demoralizing for the Cowboys. We've tried to keep it as least amount as personal as possible, but at some point in this process it becomes personal, Hendrickson said, via ESPN. Being sent 30 days before mandatory camp, or how many ever days it is, that if I don't show up I will be fined, alludes to the fact that something won't get done in that time frame. This relationship might be bordering on the point of no return after the Bengals shockingly extended star wide receivers Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins. Many thought Cincinnati would pay Chase and allow Higgins to walk in order to pay Hendrickson. The NFL's reigning sack champ, Hendrickson is one of the most valuable defensive players in football. He accounted for a whopping 49% of the Bengals' sacks last season, which was the highest rate of any player. Only T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett have more sacks than Hendrickson over the last 5 seasons, and he tied Garrett last season for the most pressures with 83. Even if the Commanders were able to re-sign Fowler, they'd likely be looking for pass rush reinforcements anyway. That is how thin their defensive end room is. After opting against addressing the edge position in the NFL draft, their depth chart is now headlined by Dorrance Armstrong, Dietrich Wise Jr. and Clelin Ferrell. Linebacker Frankie Louvu is probably the best pure pass rusher on the roster. Louvu is a really good player, but that is not a recipe for success. With quarterback Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal, the Commanders have ample cap space to pay Hendrickson the contract he wants and deserves. If things with the Bengals reach a point of no return, Washington will be the top landing spot for the 4-time Pro Bowler. And you, fan? What do you think about Dan Quinn's situation? Write to us in the comments.